Commander Zethkara stared at the scanner readings in complete shock. Her long, crystal-like fingers shook as she held the datapad. The numbers made no sense at all. She looked at the unconscious creature lying on the medical table, then back at the scanner. Something was very wrong with their equipment. "Dr. Veltar, please check the bioscanner again," she called out to her chief medical officer. "These readings cannot be correct." Dr. Veltar walked over to the examination table where the strange alien lay. The creature was smaller than most species they knew. Its skin was a pale pink color and it had only 2 arms and 2 legs. Hair covered the top of its head in brown strands. The doctor had never seen anything like it in all his years of studying different alien races. "Commander, I have run the scan 5 times, Dr. Veltar said, his voice full of worry. "The results are the same every time. This creature should be dead." Zethkara looked down at the unconscious being again. Just 2 hours ago, this single creature had fought against 3 of their ships. It had damaged 2 vessels badly and left 17 of her crew members hurt. The fight had been short but terrible. She had never seen anything fight so hard or so wild. The creature's ship had been small and old. It looked like it was already falling apart before the battle started. Their sensors showed it had weapons, but they were simple compared to consortium technology. When her fleet had tried to help what looked like a damaged ship, the creature had started shooting at them. "What do the scans show exactly?" Zethkara asked, though she feared the answer. Dr. Veltar read from his datapad with a shaking voice. 17 broken bones. 3 damaged organs inside the body. The creature has lost almost 30% of its blood. Its brain shows signs of serious injury. Any member of any known species would be unconscious for weeks with these injuries. Many would simply die. The commander felt cold fear run through her crystal body. "But it was awake when we brought it here." "Yes?" The doctor nodded. "It was not just awake. It was trying to fight our medical team. We had to use 3 times the normal amount of sleep medicine to make it unconscious. Even then, it took longer than it should have." Zethkara remembered the moment clearly. After they had disabled the creature's ship and brought it to their medical station, it had woken up in the transport bay. Blood was running down its face from a cut on its head. Its left arm hung at a wrong angle, clearly broken. But the creature had stood up and looked around like it was ready to fight again. "What did it say?" she asked the doctor. The universal translator could only pick up 1 word from its language. "Doctor," Veltar replied. "It said fine, and then it fell down. That was when we were able to treat it." The word meant nothing to either of them. Their computers were still trying to learn the creature's language. So far, they only had basic words and simple phrases. "Commander," came a voice from behind them. It was Officer Thekalon from the security team. "The creature's ship has been searched. We found some interesting things." Zethkara turned to face the security officer. "What did you find?" "The ship's computer had files about the creature's species," Thekalon said, holding up a small data device. "They call themselves humans. According to the files, this one is a soldier. Its name is Elena Vasquez." "A soldier?" Dr. Veltar looked confused. "What is a soldier?" "Someone who fights in wars," Thekalon explained. "But Commander, that is not the strangest part. The files show that humans fight each other. Not just with ships or energy weapons, they fight with their bodies. They actually hurt each other on purpose to train for war." Zethkara felt her crystal skin turn a pale blue color. This was a sign of fear in her species. They hurt themselves to train? The files show humans doing something called combat training. They hit each other, throw each other to the ground, and practice fighting with knives and other sharp tools. They call it being tough. Dr. Veltar was studying his scanner again. "This would explain the old injuries I am seeing in the bone scans. This human has been hurt many times before. The bones show signs of being broken and healed at least 12 different times in the past." 12 times? Zethkara could hardly believe it. How is this creature still alive? "More than that," the doctor continued. "The scans show that its bones grew back stronger each time they were broken. Its muscles show the same pattern. This human has been hurt and healed so many times that its body has become much stronger than it should be. The commander walked to the window that looked out at the stars. Her medical station was peaceful. It served 73 different species from across the galaxy. All of them had learned to live together without fighting. They had evolved beyond war thousands of years ago. "Officer Theklan, what else do we know about humans?" she asked. "Very little, Commander. The files show they come from a planet called Earth. It is far from consortium space. They have only recently started traveling between stars. This might be their first contact with other intelligent species." Dr. Veltar looked up from his medical equipment. "Commander, there is something else. The human's body is producing chemicals that I have never seen before. When it was fighting our medical team, these chemicals made it faster and stronger. It was like the injuries made it fight harder, not weaker." "That makes no sense," Zethkara said. "Pain should make a creature want to stop fighting." "Not this one," the doctor replied. "The more we hurt it while trying to help it, the more dangerous it became. We finally had to use stun weapons to make it stop moving." The commander looked back at the unconscious human. Elena Vasquez looked so small and weak lying on the medical table, but the damage to her ships and crew told a different story. This tiny creature had fought like a wild animal, and nearly won against 3 advanced consortium vessels. "How long before it wakes up?" she asked. "With the amount of medicine we gave it, any normal creature would sleep for at least 4 days, Dr. Veltar said. "But based on what we have seen, I think this human might wake up much sooner." "When it does wake up, we need to be ready," Zethkara said. "Double the security team. Make sure they have stun weapons, not killing weapons. We need to learn more about humans before we decide if they are dangerous to the consortium." "Commander," Officer Theklan said quietly, "what if they are all like this one? What if all humans are this hard to hurt and this good at fighting?" Zethkara did not answer right away. She was thinking about the implications. If humans were a warrior species, they could be very dangerous to the peaceful consortium, but they could also be valuable allies if the galaxy ever faced a real threat. "We will deal with that when the time comes," she finally said. "For now, we need to keep this human safe and try to communicate with it. Maybe we can learn why it attacked us." Dr. Veltar was still studying his scans. "Commander, I have never seen anything like this creature. It should not be able to survive with these injuries. But somehow it is not just surviving. According to these readings, it is actually starting to heal." As if hearing their conversation, the human on the medical table moved slightly. Its eyes remained closed, but its fingers twitched. Dr. Veltar checked his monitors quickly. "Impossible," he whispered. "It is starting to wake up already." Elena Vasquez opened her eyes slowly. Everything hurt, but that was nothing new. She had woken up in worse condition before. The room was white and clean, with strange lights coming from the ceiling. She could hear voices speaking in a language she did not understand. She tried to move her left arm and felt sharp pain shoot through her shoulder. Broken, she thought. Maybe the collarbone too. Her ribs felt wrong when she breathed, and there was a taste of blood in her mouth. Still, she was alive, and that was what mattered. The voices stopped talking. Elena turned her head carefully and saw 3 tall, thin creatures looking at her. They looked like they were made of crystal or glass. Their skin was clear and reflected the light in the room. She had never seen anything like them before. One of the creatures stepped forward. It was wearing what looked like a medical coat. When it spoke, a machine translated its words into English. "Please do not move," the translator said in a flat electronic voice. "You have serious injuries. We are trying to help you." Elena tried to sit up, ignoring the pain. "Where am I? What happened to my ship?" "You are on our medical station," the creature said. "Your ship was badly damaged. We brought you here for treatment." "Treatment?" Elena looked around the room more carefully. It did look like a hospital. There were medical machines everywhere, and she could see monitors showing her heart rate and other body functions. "You attacked me." "We were trying to help," another creature said. This one was taller and wore different clothes. "Your ship appeared to be in distress. When we approached, you began firing weapons at us." Elena tried to remember what had happened. Her ship had been damaged in a fight with space pirates 3 days ago. She was trying to reach a safe planet for repairs when these strangers appeared. They had not responded to her radio calls, and their ships looked like nothing she had ever seen before. "You did not identify yourselves," she said. "For all I knew, you were more pirates." "Pirates?" The tall creature looked confused. What are pirates? People who attack ships and steal things, Elena explained. She was starting to understand that these creatures were very different from humans. You have never heard of pirates? No, the tall creature said. I am Commander Zethkara. We are part of the Galactic Consortium. We are a peaceful alliance of many different species. We do not have pirates, Elena stared at the commander. Peaceful. You shot at my ship. Only to disable it, Commander Zethkara said. We used stun weapons that were meant to stop your ship without hurting you. We did not expect you to continue fighting after being hit. The medical creature stepped closer with a scanning device. Elena tensed, ready to fight if needed. The creature noticed her reaction and stepped back. Please, it said through the translator. I am Dr. Veltar. I need to check your injuries. You have been unconscious for 2 days. 2 days? Elena was surprised. She felt like she had only been asleep for a few hours. I feel fine. Dr. Veltar looked at Commander Zethkara with what might have been shock. You feel fine? But you have 17 broken bones and internal injuries. Elena looked down at her body. She was covered in bandages, but she could move all her fingers and toes. The pain was bad, but she had experienced worse during her military training. Pain is temporary, she said. What matters is whether I can still function. Function? Dr. Veltar held up his scanner and showed her the results. According to our medical knowledge, you should be in a coma. These injuries would kill most species we know. Elena studied the scanner results. Even with her basic medical training, she could see that her body was in bad shape. But she had been through worse during the war on Proxima Station. Humans are tougher than we look, she said. We have to be. Tougher? Commander Zethkara asked. What do you mean? Elena thought about how to explain human nature to these peaceful aliens. Where I come from, life is hard. We fight to survive. We fight each other, we fight our environment. We fight diseases and accidents. It makes us strong. You fight each other? Dr. Veltar sounded horrified. Why would you hurt your own species? Sometimes we fight over resources. Sometimes we fight because we disagree about how to live. And sometimes we fight to train ourselves to be better fighters. Training to fight. Commander Zethkara sat down in a chair next to Elena's bed. Can you explain this? Elena tried to think of simple words to describe human military training. In my job, I am a soldier. Soldiers protect people from enemies. To be good at protecting people, we have to practice fighting. We hit each other, we get hurt, and we learn to keep fighting even when we are hurt. This is how all humans live? Dr. Veltar asked. Not all humans are soldiers, Elena said. But all humans know about pain and struggle. Our planet has dangerous animals, bad weather, diseases, and natural disasters. We have to be tough to survive. Dr. Veltar was scanning her again. Your body shows signs of many old injuries. How many times have you been hurt? Elena thought about it. I stopped counting after I joined the military. Maybe hundreds of times. Broken bones, cuts, burns, bruises. It is normal. Normal? Commander Zethkara looked shocked. For us, even a small injury is a serious problem. Our medical teams respond immediately to any sign of pain or damage. That sounds nice, Elena said. But it would make you weak. Weak? Dr. Veltar seemed confused. We are advanced. We have eliminated most sources of injury and pain from our lives. But what happens when you meet something that wants to hurt you? Elena asked. Something that does not care about your peaceful ways? The two aliens looked at each other but did not answer. Elena realized that they probably had never thought about this problem before. We have been peaceful for thousands of years, Commander Zethkara finally said. All species in the consortium have evolved beyond violence. All the species you know about, Elena corrected. But the galaxy is big. There might be others out there who are not so peaceful. Dr. Veltar finished his scan and looked worried. Your injuries are healing much faster than they should. Your broken bones are already starting to mend. This should take weeks, not days. Humans heal quickly, Elena said, especially if we stay active. Sitting still makes injuries worse. Stay active? Dr. Veltar looked alarmed. You cannot move with these injuries. You need rest. Elena carefully sat up in bed, ignoring the pain. Doctor, I appreciate your help, but I need to check on my ship and figure out how to get home. Your ship cannot be repaired, Commander Zethkara said. The damage is too severe. Elena felt a moment of sadness. That ship had been her home for 3 years. But she pushed the emotion aside and focused on the problem. Then I need to find another way home, she said. Can you help me contact other humans? We do not know where other humans are, Commander Zethkara said. You are the first human we have ever met. Elena realized she was in a much more difficult situation than she had thought. She was alone, far from home with no way to contact her people, but she had been in bad situations before. Well, she said, trying to stand up despite Dr. Veltar's protests. I guess we all have some learning to do. As she stood up, alarms started going off on the medical monitors. Dr. Veltar rushed to check the readings. Impossible, he said. Her body functions are improving, not getting worse. How is she standing with those injuries? Elena looked at the worried aliens and managed a small smile. I told you. I'm fine. Word about the strange human spread quickly through the medical station. Scientists, diplomats, and military officers from dozens of different species came to see Elena. She had never imagined so many different types of intelligent life existed. There were tall, plant-like beings with green skin and leaves for hair, small furry creatures that looked like cats but walked on two legs, large, slug-like aliens that moved slowly but spoke with great wisdom, flying creatures with beautiful wings and singing voices. Each species was more amazing than the last, but what surprised Elena most was how similar they all were in one important way. None of them understood violence or pain the way humans did. Captain Thondrius was a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. He was a military officer, but his idea of military work was very different from Elena's. You say humans engage in hand-to-hand combat? He asked through the universal translator. You fight using only your bodies? Elena nodded. Sometimes. We also use weapons, but every soldier learns to fight without them too. But why would you choose to fight without weapons? Captain Thondrius looked confused. Weapons are more efficient. Weapons can be taken away or broken, Elena explained. But your body is always with you. Also, learning to fight with your hands teaches you things that weapons cannot. What kind of things? Elena thought about her training. It teaches you to keep fighting when you are hurt. It teaches you to think quickly when someone is trying to hurt you. It teaches you that you are stronger than you think you are. Dr. Veltar was taking notes on everything Elena said. You mentioned that humans practice fighting during training. Can you describe this? We call it sparring or combat training, Elena said. 2 people fight each other, but they try not to cause serious injury. The goal is to learn, not to kill. But people get hurt during this training? Asked a small bird-like alien. Yes, sometimes, Elena admitted. Broken noses, black eyes, cuts and bruises. But we heal and we learn from it. The assembled aliens looked horrified. Elena realized she needed to help them understand human thinking. Let me ask you something, she said. What do you do if someone attacks your people? We negotiate, said Captain Thondrius. We try to understand why they are attacking and find a peaceful solution. And if they do not want to negotiate? If they just want to hurt you? The captain looked uncomfortable. That has not happened in over 2,000 years. All intelligent species want peace. All the species you know about, Elena said again. But what if you meet a species that does not want peace? What if they are like humans were a long time ago? An elderly alien with tentacles instead of arms spoke up. You are suggesting that violence might be necessary sometimes. I am suggesting that being able to defend yourself is important, Elena said. Peace is wonderful, but only if everyone wants peace. Dr. Veltar showed her a datapad with pictures of human activities from her ship's computer. Can you explain these images? Elena looked at the pictures. They showed humans doing various sports and training exercises. Boxing, martial arts, rock climbing, running through obstacle courses. These are sports and fitness activities, she explained. Humans do these things for fun and to stay strong. For fun? A purple jellyfish-like alien seemed shocked. You hurt yourselves for entertainment? We challenge ourselves, Elena corrected. We push our bodies to the limit to see what we can do. It makes us feel alive. But some of these activities look very dangerous, Dr. Veltar said, pointing to a picture of humans rock climbing. Danger makes it exciting, Elena said. When you are in danger, you have to be completely focused. You have to use all your skill and strength. There is nothing else like it. The aliens exchanged looks that Elena was learning to recognize as confusion and worry. This is very hard for us to understand, said Commander Zethkara, who had been listening quietly. Our species evolved to avoid danger and pain. We see them as things to be eliminated. And that is good, Elena said. Your society is peaceful and safe. Your people live good lives without fear. But it also means you might not be ready if someone threatens that peace. What do you mean? asked Captain Thondrius. Elena pointed to the star charts on the wall. You control this part of space with 73 different species living together. That is amazing. But space is huge. There are probably thousands of other species out there that you have not met yet. We hope to meet them peacefully, Commander Zethkara said. I hope so too, Elena said. But what if some of them are not peaceful? What if they look at your beautiful safe worlds and decide they want to take them? The room became very quiet. Elena could see that this was not something the consortium had thought much about. Dr. Veltar broke the silence. Are all humans like you? Are they all warriors? No, Elena said. Most humans are peaceful too. They have jobs like doctors, teachers, farmers, and engineers. They want to live quiet lives with their families. Then why do you have warriors at all? Because someone has to protect the peaceful people, Elena said. That is what warriors do. We stand between the good people and the bad people. We get hurt so others do not have to. This is your choice? Asked the elderly tentacled alien. You choose to put yourself in danger for others? Yes, Elena said simply. It is an honor to protect people who cannot protect themselves. Captain Thondrius was studying the pictures of human military training. These exercises look very painful. Why do you make training so difficult? Because real fighting is difficult, Elena explained. If training is easy, you will not be ready for real danger. We have a saying, train hard, fight easy. What does that mean? It means if you practice fighting under the worst conditions, real fighting will seem easier by comparison. Dr. Veltar was scanning Elena again. Your injuries continue to heal at an impossible rate. How do you recover so quickly? Humans are built to recover from damage, Elena said. Our bodies expect to be hurt sometimes, so they are good at healing. Also, staying active helps us heal faster. Staying active? Dr. Veltar looked alarmed. You should be resting. Elena stood up from her chair and did some gentle stretching exercises. Several aliens gasped as she moved her injured arm. Movement brings blood to the injured areas, Elena explained. Blood carries the things needed for healing. Sitting still makes injuries heal slowly and makes you weak. This goes against everything we know about medicine, Dr. Veltar said. Maybe your medicine works for your species, Elena said. But humans are different. We heal by staying strong, not by becoming weak. Commander Zethkara looked thoughtful. Elena, what would you do if you were in charge of protecting the consortium? Elena considered the question carefully. First, I would try to learn about what threats might exist. Second, I would create a way to defend against those threats without destroying the peace you have built. How would you do that? I would train some of your people to be warriors, but only enough to protect the others. Warriors serve peace, they do not destroy it. The room was quiet as the aliens thought about this idea. Finally, Commander Zethkara spoke. Elena, would you be willing to stay here for a while? We have much to learn from each other. Elena looked around at all the different species watching her with curiosity and hope. I think that would be a good idea, she said. But first, can someone get me some real food? All this talking has made me hungry. The aliens looked at each other in amazement. After everything she had been through, the human was thinking about food. Admiral Kesselon arrived at the medical station 3 days later. She was the highest-ranking military officer in the consortium, and she was not happy about what she had heard regarding the human. Commander Zethkara, she said as soon as she stepped off her ship. I want to see this human warrior immediately. Admiral Kesselon was from a species that looked like walking trees. Her bark-like skin was dark brown, and small leaves grew from her arms and head. She was over 8 feet tall and had lived for more than 400 years. In all that time, she had never encountered anything like what the reports described. Elena was in the station's recreation area when the Admiral found her. She was doing something the aliens had never seen before, exercising with heavy objects. She had convinced the engineering team to make her some simple weights, and she was lifting them repeatedly. What is it doing? Admiral Kesselon asked Dr. Veltar. Elena calls it working out, the doctor explained. She says it keeps her body strong. But she is injured. Why is she making her injuries worse? That is what we thought too, Dr. Veltar said. But her injuries are healing faster because of this activity. It makes no sense according to our medical knowledge. Elena finished her exercise and noticed the tall, tree-like alien watching her. She walked over and offered her hand in the human gesture of greeting. "You must be Admiral Kesselon," she said. "I have heard a lot about you." The Admiral did not shake Elena's hand. Instead, she studied the human carefully. "I have come to determine if your species represents a threat to consortium peace." "That is a fair question," Elena said. "I would ask the same thing in your position. I understand you have been telling our people about something called warfare." "I have been sharing information about human society," Elena corrected. "That includes how we handle conflicts." "Admiral," Kesselon gestured to a nearby table and they all sat down. "I want to understand what kind of species we are dealing with. Are all humans as dangerous as you?" Elena thought about the question carefully. "Humans are not naturally dangerous, Admiral. We are naturally protective. There is a difference." "Explain this difference." "A dangerous species attacks others for no reason. A protective species fights only when something threatens what they care about." "But you are trained to kill," Admiral Kesselon said. "We found weapons on your ship designed to hurt people." "Yes," Elena admitted. "But those weapons exist because there are people in the galaxy who want to hurt innocent beings. Pirates, raiders, slave traders. My job is to stop them." "You have encountered hostile species before?" Elena nodded sadly. "Humans are not the only species that can be violent. We have met others who see kindness as weakness. They attack peaceful colonies and steal or destroy everything they can." Dr. Veltar looked worried. "There are species like this in our galaxy?" "Space is vast, Doctor. Not everyone out there is as civilized as the consortium." Admiral Kesselon leaned forward. "I want to test your capabilities. Will you participate in some training exercises?" "What kind of exercises?" Elena asked. "Scenarios that test how you handle difficult situations. We need to understand how humans think and react." Elena agreed, and the next morning they began the tests. The first scenario took place in a holographic simulation room. Elena found herself on a virtual spaceship that was about to explode. There were 20 people trapped in different parts of the ship, but she could only save 15 of them before the ship was destroyed. The consortium officers expected Elena to save the 15 people closest to her, which would be the safest option. Instead, Elena studied the layout of the ship and found a way to save 17 people by taking personal risks that the computer said had a 70% chance of killing her. "Why did you choose to risk your life?" Admiral Kesselon asked after the simulation ended. "Because 2 more people lived," Elena said simply. "My life is not worth more than theirs." The second test was a diplomatic scenario. Elena had to negotiate with aggressive aliens who were threatening to attack a peaceful colony. The consortium approach would be to offer them resources to make them go away. Elena's approach was different. She gathered information about the aggressive aliens and found out they were bullies who attacked anyone they thought was weak. So she made it clear that attacking the colony would result in a fight they could not win, while also offering them a face-saving way to leave peacefully. "You used the threat of violence in a diplomatic situation," Admiral Kesselon observed. "I used the promise of consequences," Elena corrected. "Bullies only understand strength. If you show them weakness, they will keep demanding more. But what if they had chosen to fight?" "Then I would have fought them," Elena said. "Sometimes fighting is the only way to protect innocent people." The third test was pure combat. Elena faced multiple opponents in a fighting simulation. The consortium expected her to be defeated quickly, since she was still healing from her injuries. Instead, Elena adapted her fighting style to work around her injuries. When her damaged left arm became a liability, she used it as a distraction while striking with her right. When broken ribs made breathing difficult, she changed her strategy to end fights quickly instead of lasting a long time. "Remarkable," Admiral Kesselon said as they watched Elena defeat opponents that should have been impossible for her to beat. "She does not fight despite her injuries. She fights differently because of them." Dr. Veltar was monitoring Elena's body functions during the test. "Admiral, her pain levels would incapacitate any species we know. But instead of slowing her down, the pain seems to make her more focused." After the tests were over, Elena sat with the Admiral and other senior officers to discuss the results. "I do not understand how you function with such damage to your body," Admiral Kesselon said. "Pain is just information. Elena explained. It tells me what is wrong, but it does not control what I do. I decide what I do based on what needs to be accomplished. This is how all human warriors think? This is how all humans are supposed to think, Elena said. Warriors just get more practice at it. What would happen if the consortium faced an enemy we could not negotiate with? Admiral Kesselon asked. Elena considered this carefully. Right now you would probably lose, not because you are weak, but because you have no experience with that kind of conflict. Could humans help us prepare for such a situation? Maybe, Elena said, but it would require some of your people to become warriors. Are you willing to ask some of your citizens to give up their peaceful lives to protect others? Admiral Kesselon was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. Elena, how do we know we can trust humans? How do we know you will not become the threat we need to defend against? Elena stood up and looked out the window at the stars. You do not know that, Admiral. You have to make the same choice humans make every day. What choice is that? Whether to trust someone who says they want to protect you, or to face the dangers of the galaxy alone. The Admiral considered this. If we agreed to work together, what would you want in return? Safe passage home for me and peaceful contact with my people, Elena said. Humans have much to learn from the consortium. Maybe we can learn to build the kind of peaceful society you have. While keeping your warrior abilities? Elena smiled. Admiral, the only reason the consortium can have peace is because no one has seriously threatened it yet. When that day comes, and it will come eventually, you will be glad to have friends who know how to fight. Dr. Veltar spoke up quietly. Elena, after all these tests and injuries, how do you feel? Elena looked at him and gave the same answer she had given since the day she arrived. Fine, she said. I feel fine. But this time, the aliens were beginning to understand what that word really meant when a human said it. The Consortium Council met for 3 days to discuss what they had learned about humans. Representatives from all 73 member species came to hear Admiral Kesselon's report and to decide what to do about Elena and her people. Elena was invited to speak to the council on the final day. She stood before hundreds of aliens, each one different from the others, all of them watching her with curiosity and concern. Honored representatives, Elena began, I know my presence here has raised difficult questions. You have built something beautiful in this part of space, a place where different species live together in peace. I understand why you are worried about humans. A representative from a floating, gas-filled species spoke first. Elena of Earth, your species appears to be naturally violent. How can we trust that humans will not disturb our peace? You are right to be concerned, Elena said. Humans can be violent, but violence is not our goal. Protection is our goal. There is an important difference. Can you explain this difference? Asked a crystalline being similar to Commander Zethkara. Elena thought about how to make them understand. Imagine you have a garden full of beautiful flowers. You love those flowers and want them to grow safely. But sometimes dangerous animals try to eat your flowers. What do? We would build a fence to keep the animals away, said a plant-like representative. Exactly, Elena said. The fence is not violent, but it uses force to protect what you love. Warriors are like that fence. We use force only to protect what we care about. But warriors can become the threat themselves, pointed out an elderly alien with tentacles. What stops human warriors from becoming the dangerous animals in your example? Other warriors, Elena said simply. In human society, we have warriors who protect people from criminals, and we have warriors who protect people from those warriors if they become corrupt. We call it checks and balances. Admiral Kesselon spoke from her place at the council table. The humans' test showed remarkable capabilities, but also remarkable restraint. She could have easily killed our security team when she first arrived, but she chose not to. Because they were trying to help me, Elena said. A true warrior only uses deadly force when there is no other choice. What would humans want from an alliance with the consortium? Asked Captain Thondrius. Elena had thought about this question many times during her stay at the medical station. Knowledge, she said. Humans are still learning how to travel between stars. We are still learning how to live peacefully with each other. The consortium has solved problems that we are still struggling with. And what would humans offer in return? Protection, Elena said. Not because you are weak, but because you are precious. The peace you have built here is worth defending. A small, furry representative stood up. But Elena, your own species still fights wars with each other. Why should we trust humans to protect us when you cannot protect yourselves? Elena felt the weight of this question. It was true that humans still had conflicts with each other, though they were becoming less common as her species learned to work together. You are right, she admitted. Humans are not perfect. We are still learning how to be better. But that is exactly why we need friends like you. The consortium can teach us how to resolve conflicts peacefully, and we can help protect the peace while you teach us. Dr. Veltar stood up to address the council. I have completed my medical analysis of the human. I recommend that the council read my full report, but I will summarize the key points. He activated a holographic display showing Elena's medical scans. This human has survived injuries that would kill any member of any species we know. More importantly, she has healed from those injuries while remaining active. Her species appears to be naturally resilient in ways we cannot fully understand. Is this resilience dangerous? Asked a representative. It could be, Dr. Veltar admitted. But in Elena's case, this resilience is combined with a strong moral code. She endures pain to protect others, not to cause harm. What do you recommend, Doctor? Asked the council leader. I recommend cautious cooperation, Dr. Veltar said. Humans have abilities we lack, but they also have wisdom we can benefit from. The question is not whether we can trust all humans, but whether we can build a relationship that benefits both our species. The council debated for several more hours. Finally, they called Elena back to hear their decision. Elena of Earth, the council leader said, we have decided to offer humanity a provisional alliance. We will help you return to your people, and we will send diplomats to begin formal contact with your government. Elena felt relief wash over her. After weeks of uncertainty, she would finally be able to go home. However, the council leader continued, we have conditions. Humans must agree to follow consortium law in consortium space, and we want to establish an exchange program. Some humans would come here to learn our ways, and some of our people would go to Earth to learn yours. I think my government would find those terms acceptable, Elena said. But I cannot speak for all of humanity. We understand, Admiral Kesselon said. That is why we are starting slowly. Elena, would you be willing to serve as the first human ambassador to the consortium? Elena was surprised by this offer. I am a soldier, not a diplomat. You are exactly what we need, Commander Zethkara said. Someone who understands both peace and war. Someone who can help us prepare for threats while maintaining our values. Elena thought about it. The idea of staying in space away from Earth was not appealing. But the opportunity to build a bridge between humanity and the consortium was too important to ignore. I accept, she said, but I have one condition of my own. What is that? Asked the council leader. I want to train some of your people in basic self-defense. Not to make them warriors, but to give them tools to protect themselves if diplomacy fails. The council members looked at each other uncertainly. Physical training? Asked Dr. Veltar. Our species are not built for combat. Not combat, Elena corrected. Confidence. The ability to stand up to bullies. The knowledge that you can protect yourselves if you need to. Admiral Kesselon nodded slowly. I think this could be valuable. Not all our people need this training, but some might benefit from it. And Elena, Commander Zethkara added, we want you to teach us more about human resilience. If we are going to work together, we need to understand how your people think. 6 months later, Elena stood on the observation deck of the consortium flagship, watching as a human diplomatic vessel approached. It was the first official contact between humanity and the consortium, and Elena felt proud to have helped make it possible. Dr. Veltar joined her at the window. How are you feeling about seeing your people again? Elena smiled. Excited, nervous, ready. After all this time, what do you want to tell them about us? Elena thought about everything she had learned during her stay with the consortium. I want to tell them about your kindness, your wisdom, your commitment to peace. And I want to tell them that the galaxy is big enough for many different ways of living. And what do you want to tell us about humanity? That we are not perfect, but we are trying to be better. That we know how to be strong when strength is needed. And that friendship is always stronger than fear. Dr. Veltar ran one final medical scan on Elena. Her injuries had healed completely, and her body showed the stress patterns of someone who had been through intense training. but she was healthy and strong. "Elena," he said, "I have one last question for you. After everything that has happened, how do you feel?" Elena looked out at the stars, thinking about her destroyed ship, her injuries, her time as a prisoner, and her new role as an ambassador. She thought about the challenges ahead and the possibilities for peace between her people and the consortium. "Fine," she said with a smile. "I feel fine." But now Dr. Veltar understood what that word meant. When a human said fine, they meant they were ready for whatever came next. They meant they would endure any hardship and overcome any obstacle to protect what they cared about. As the human ship docked with the consortium vessel, Elena walked toward the airlock to greet her people. Behind her, representatives from 73 alien species waited to meet humanity for the first time. Elena had taught them that humans were tough, resilient, and sometimes dangerous. But she had also taught them that humans were loyal, protective, and willing to sacrifice for others. The consortium had been at peace for thousands of years. Now with human allies, that peace would be stronger than ever, because sometimes the best way to preserve peace is to be friends with people who know how to fight for it. And if anyone ever threatened the beautiful, diverse society that the consortium had built, they would learn what it meant when humans said they were fine. It meant they were ready for anything.